I know we can do this together because I know this. There's nothing beyond our capacity.
Oh, I hope you're ready, folks. I hope you are also prepared at home, ready to deal with family, friends, work, etc. But at home, you need to be prepared with food, water, shelter, clothing, and means of self-defense, and also medicine. Anyways, folks, you've got to have a plan. Please understand we're not going the right way in this country. This is great, though. Tucker Carlson is ready to release his highly anticipated interview with Vladimir Putin. Vlad the Impaler Putin. No, he's not the Impaler. He's not Vlad, the guy who sent 1 million of his own people to their death. He's Vladimir Putin. Okay. Now, 6 p.m. tonight, Eastern Standard Time. That means 30 minutes after this show is done, live, if you're here live, you can see Vladimir Putin talk with Tucker Carlson. Now, the media is lost their shit. They've absolutely lost it. Lost it. The Democrats are losing their shit over this. The mainstream media, the Democrats in Europe, it's the European Union and the nations of Europe, they're losing their shit because a solo, independent American journalist who was mainstream media's golden boy for making money because people actually want to hear what he has to say and what he's doing and what he's reporting on. But now he may as well be me, just one guy. Well, you got Uman and Jolene and people in the background. Thank you, Uman. Right? Tucker has people in the background helping him. Of course he does. He is such a big name. He has a publicist. He has people working on getting interviews set up. He has people researching, getting stuff ready to find out what he wants to talk about, right? Because he's Tucker Carlson, but he's not a network. But it's funny, we have all these networks. In Canada, you have the CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. In England, you have the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporations. In Australia, you have ABC, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. In America, you have NBC, ABC, CBS, CNN, Fox. All of these places are loaded with staff. On-screen talent, camera operators, switchboard dudes who turn dials and knobs and shit. They've got assistants, makeup people, all that shit. Like if I had a real studio, this burn mark I got from a piece of hot brass landing on my glasses, resting there, burning me, it would be covered in makeup. You wouldn't see it. I'd be Orange Man Blonde. Not Orange Man Bad, Orange Man Blonde. One little guy, Tucker, has caused the entire world of globalist socialist scum to lose their shit at varying levels. Now, Hillary Clinton. Oh, Tucker, he's a lapdog or a puppy. He's the puppy dog of Putin, she says. Oh, really, Hillary? So Tucker's the bad guy for doing an interview? Didn't Hillary have something to do with selling a lot of America's uranium resources to Russia, a Russian corporation? Yeah. Didn't Hillary have a lot to do with Benghazi? Didn't Hillary have a lot to do with the White House? She was Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton. How many of Tucker's friends, like Hillary's friends and business associates, how many of Tucker's friends and associates have killed themselves, hung themselves, been involved in suspicious accidents where they died? I don't think very many at all, if any. Hillary, on the other hand, how many is it now, Hillary? 100, 150, 200 that we know of. Democrats, folks, in America want to charge Tucker with some kind of crime because he's a Russian asset or he's a Russian spy or he works for Vladimir Putin. He's an employee. He's a foreign agent now that he's spoken in an interview with Putin. I'm telling you, we got really close to seeing an American fly back home, get off a plane, and get arrested for daring to go to Russia. In fact, you know what? It is not illegal to go to Russia. It is not illegal to talk to Russians. In fact, the American government, I'm sorry, not our government, the United States, the United States government in Washington, D.C. does business with Russia. They conduct commerce with Russia. They make deals with Russia and Putin, even though they pretend not to. How bad is Tucker Carlson for talking with Putin? How bad is the American intelligence community and their for sale, for hire mercenaries working with other countries and their secret services to bomb and destroy the Nord Stream pipelines that bring energy to Europe that keeps it warm and productive? That cost, I don't know how many billions, if not over $1 trillion in lost wages, revenue, productivity, as well as folks risking the lives of everyone by not having gas in the winter. Tucker didn't do that. Tucker used words to talk to another human being. The Democrats are a bunch of fucking jerk-offs. And the European Union, they want to revoke his travel privileges. Tucker, you're no longer allowed to travel in Europe. In America, traveling is a right. Now, traveling by plane is a privilege. Why? Because you're flying through the air, and the United States government in Washington, D.C. believes they own the fucking air over our houses. You want to travel on a train? The United States government says they own the train tracks because they're interstate commerce. But you can walk. You can drive a car. You can travel wherever the fuck you want. But yeah, the federal government is full of shit. The European Union is full of shit. Oh, wait a minute. But wait, there's more. I would like to thank Mr. Uman for this. Tucker, the bad guy? Really? Who else has interviewed Vlad the Bad, Vlad the Impaler, Vlad Putin? Let's see. Back in 2001, Baba Wawa with ABC interviewed Vladimir Putin. Has she since retired in Russia as a multi-millionaire? Is she a Russian agent? I think Baba Wawa is now dead. How about Charlie Rose in 2015? He did 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes program. Is Charlie Rose a Russian asset, a Russian spy, a Russian agent? How about 2016? From Bloomberg, John Micklethwaite. I have never heard of John Micklethwaite. Is that a joke? Am I reading that wrong? Is that like Richard Smoker? Amanda Kiss? Is that a name like Michael Hunt? Okay, let's continue. In 2017, Oliver Stone, famous movie director, spoke with Putin. Was he arrested? Chris Wallace of Fox, that's right. He even does presidential debates. He did it in 2020, but in 2018, he talked to Vladimir Putin. In 2019, Megyn Kelly. Megyn, fuck you, Dr. Fauci Kelly, while on NBC in 2019. And then, folks, in 2020 from the Financial Times, Lionel Barber interviewed Vladimir Putin. But that wasn't the last or the latest. In 2021, from NBC, Keir Simmons another person I've never heard of because I don't give a shit about the mainstream media. Keir Simmons interviewed Vladimir Putin. Thank you, Uman, for those. But because it's Tucker, bad. All right. I hope you've got your questions down below as they come up. Things, thoughts, what is happening in your world of SHTF today? What do you want to talk about? We've got all kinds of shit going on, folks. All kinds of shit. I want to talk a little bit about, briefly, the Supreme Court was hearing oral arguments from the Colorado attorneys who want to get Trump off the ballot. They've taken their case to the Supreme Court. This is, it is unprecedented, has never happened before. And the Supreme Court doesn't always. In fact, it's rather rare that they hear oral arguments. I'll tell you what, though, the Prepared Mind attorney has argued their case with the Supreme Court. I even read the documents. Quite a good case. Anyways, a couple of the justices had some choice stuff. Justice Brett Kavanaugh, party boy Brett, who supposedly teabagged whatever the fuck Ford, I don't even know what her name was, Ford, who pretended to be very scared of planes and didn't want to go to Washington, and she felt so victimized by Brett Kavanaugh because he was teabagging and putting his weenie out there. Anyways, he basically told the attorney who's trying to keep Trump off the ballot, and he says, hey, quote, Trump has not been charged with an insurrection. This is one of those big duh moments. I can't imagine going and getting in front of the Supreme Court because I want to talk about somebody and say the law needs to be applied in this case. Right? Like murderers should not get paroled. And one of the justices goes, the person you're trying to say that about has not murdered anyone. It does not apply. It's a non sequitur, right? It's a big duh, right? The claim of insurrection hasn't been proven in court. It was never proven in court that an insurrection happened. No one's been charged with it, much less Trump charged with it, much less it's proven in court to have happened. The mere charge of it or belief by somebody doesn't make it so, right? The belief system of an attorney isn't de facto evidence that a crime has been committed. It's absolutely incredible. And the stupidity, folks, was great. These attorneys are idiots. Stupidity on parade. Justice Gorsuch weighed in. And to me, having a little bit of a legal background, it was comedically humorous in destructive ability. This dumb attorney was making his oral argument on Trump's ballot eligibility. Essentially, this Colorado shit sack of a lawyer came to his own conclusions, as if his conclusions made everything applicable, as if his conclusions were a law unto themselves. And Gorsuch slapped him down, thankfully. He did it, in my opinion, playfully, and made him look and sound like a fool. Fool, folks, a fool, and knave, an idiot. Yeah, Hillary. I just got a message. Hillary, called Tucker Carlson a useful idiot. Coming from Hillary, she's married to a useful idiot, Bill Clinton. In fact, I don't even think Bill qualifies as a useful idiot. He is a useless idiot. He's as useless as tits on a bull. Interesting, folks, what they want us to believe. Unbelievable. Fucking Hillary. Really? She still matters? Unbelievable. Folks, but government is out of control everywhere. Not just in Washington, D.C., not just in Colorado, but this one came up today, and it was a big Second Amendment moment. The Hawaiian Supreme Court has rejected Second Amendment rights. Oh, it's controversial, you bet. Here's kind of what they said. Quote, in Hawaii, there is no state constitutional right to carry a firearm in public. No constitution anywhere, including Washington, D.C., says the right of the people to keep and bear arms and carry a firearm in public shall not be infringed. It doesn't say anything about carrying a firearm in public. It talks about your right to defend yourself. It is an innate human right. It is a common law human right. It is a common law right. God, common law, people make a constitution, and the Constitution empowers a government. These fucking people, folks. Hello, Hawaii. It's a common law constitutional issue that looks past the mere words. Now, we'll talk about this a little bit more in 1 second. It looks past the words to the spirit and understanding of law and life and liberty and rights. It is not an issue about a fucking island. And I love Hawaiian people, folks. But do you think the Hawaiian Supreme Court, who do you think they are? They're a bunch of left-wing, neophyte fucking idiots who think they're ruling a nation, the Hawaiian nation. Now, whether or not Hawaii secedes or regains its sovereignty as the Hawaiian kingdom, I don't give a shit at this moment. It comes down to understanding concepts, right? A lot of the stuff on the Supreme Court with Colorado is procedure, courtroom procedure, how you go about presenting a case and law and facts and opinions. I don't give a fuck about that. If you stick with the spirit of the law, everything else is superfluous. Period. The right to keep and bear arms. What does bear mean? The animal that sticks its hand in a honey pot and eats it like Winnie Pooh Bear? No. Right? To keep and bear. To bear is to hold, to own. The spirit of the law, folks. Now, if they say this, well, nowhere in the Constitution does it says you can carry a firearm, as if the Second Amendment is restricted to only words that are there, and it's confined within the very strictest of meanings, so that your right just fucking disappears, evaporates, poof. You have to meet every single word, but the federal government, even the state governments, even local governments love to look at a law, a constitutional restriction, and instead of seeing it as being confined and restricted and bound, they see it as fucking expansive as fuck. And well, the word didn't specifically say I couldn't go steal the money from this or that. No, it said stealing in general is bad. Well, it has to be much more specific, right? Or the government can tax the shit out of everything. Well, the state has a right to tax. Well, not everything. Well, it's the state. So for government, the Constitution is not restrictive. For Hawaii and other retarded places like it, California, Illinois, New York, Oregon, right? The Constitution doesn't protect us. It gives the government power. No. The Bill of Rights protects us from the expansive use of power by the government. The shoe is on the wrong fucking foot. Government thinks it owns us. It does not. And I'll fucking ride that one right into the ground every time. Every fucking time. Incredible. I mean, you want an idea of how stupid government is? Look at the fucking leader of the free world, Joe Biden. He does it again, folks. What did he do? Well, this time he recalls German Chancellor Helmut Kohl. The dude is dead. How can you talk to or have visited with a dead person? Lion Biden, in case you missed it, lately keeps saying he is seeing and talking with people who have long since died. I see dead people. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And they say we're the problem. Their fucking leader, Biden, can't find his way off of the stage. He can't find his way to the podium. He can't read a teleprompter. If there is a child, especially a little girl under the age of 15, within 100 yards of him, he seeks her out. Like Gollum, like Smeagol seeking the ring of power. Oh, my precious, I must sniff you. They want us to take them seriously. They want us to give them authority over our lives. How fucking stupid is that? I will make the decisions about me. Fucking idiots. Wow. All right, Tucker. We don't like Tucker, so we're going to arrest him. We're going to keep him from flying anywhere. We're going to call him all kinds of names. We're going to charge him with crimes. Coming from people who have people in cages as sex toys in their fucking Washington, D.C. offices. This is coming from people, folks, who engage in cocaine-blasted orgies with other disgusting-looking troglodytes in the Washington, D.C. Beltway. This coming from a city just overfloweth with homosexuality and filth. Unbelievable. Well, get this, folks. I'll switch gears. Step away from the LGBTQ smearing. Wasn't that a game when people were kids? Isn't it LGBTQ? Lesbian, bi, gay, trans, queers? There used to be a game called Smear the Queer when I was a kid. Ah, the good old days. Russia is about to hand Ukraine an ass whipping. Another ass whipping. We've been talking and hearing about Avdiivka lately. Avdiivka. Russia has been beating on Ukraine in Avdiivka. Crushing the Ukrainian military in and around Avdiivka. And now Russia, folks, according to reports, is about to, split the city in half. If they do that, they cut off the southern troops from their supply line. I can't remember what that type of move is where you go in and you pierce like a spear the center of a front and you divide it. And you hold one side at bay while you slaughter the other side. Bye-bye, Ukrainian military. I'm sorry you guys are being killed. Not by Russia, but by Ukraine's military and political leadership. Now, if someone had a hose that was spewing out toxic gases and someone else pushed someone in front of that and they died, whose fault is it for the death? The person who's just spraying toxic gases into, say, an industrial application? Or is the person who pushed him in front of that the one who killed him? Well, in this case, Russia's military, they're pretty much sure what's going on. They're taking the eastern area that was once Ukraine and is now free republics who have sided with the Russian Federation. They're taking it. And Voldemort Zelensky keeps pushing them in front of the toxic hose. They're pushing them in front of the machine guns, pushing them in front of the artillery, sending them to their fucking deaths. In fact, folks, today, Zelensky decided to fire once again the top general, General Zaluzhny. They've been fighting back and forth months and months, but fired again? Fired again? I thought he'd already been fired, but not fired, and then he was fired and then rehired. I don't know. Like, whether or not he's fired, Russia's kicking the fuck out of them. Do you think that Voldemort Zelensky leader of Ukraine? Do you think a man who is a comedian, a musician, and a homosexual entertainer, do you think he is better at making military decisions than someone who has at least spent his career in the military? Folks, Zelensky wants to be a Hitler-esque dictator, der Führer. That's right, folks. As much as Pete is Pete Juicy Booty, Booty Juice, Secretary of Transportation in the United States, we got Voldemort Booty Juice Zelensky. He's a comical insult to the intelligence of everyone. Yet he wants to be like Hitler. Hitler, folks, was the leader of the Nazi war machine. That's right. His decisions outweighed, outranked, and overstepped all of his generals. He didn't care. Didn't care. Unfucking believable. I do want to cover this while we're still on my time. The 5 Marines that were missing in the helicopter crash have been confirmed as dead. It's, once again, it's awful, it's terrible, but it happens. It's awful, it's terrible, and it happens. When you're training, you put yourself in dangerous situations. Not as dangerous as war, but you're training for war. And it happens. These men, they did not die in combat, but they died serving the country, serving freedom, serving and protecting the Constitution and all of us. And they'll be missed by their families. It's a very sad day. Let's continue. I've got 3 minutes left before we get to you guys. Get your questions, comments down below. Now get this. A judge has denied Dr. Peter Navarro's request that between now and his appeal, he stay out of jail. He's got a 4-month jail sentence for denying Congress, for not listening to their subpoena. Oh, by the way, the judge that denied Dr. Peter Navarro, the Fauci slayer, that's who he is. He's the Fauci slayer in my book. There's an Obama judge. The Obama judge said, nope, you're going to jail now. I think next time Peter Navarro needs to ask for the same judge that Hunter Biden got. And we'll find out if there are 2 sets of rules. Peter Navarro refused to go before a sham committee and violate what? Executive privilege. I'm telling you, folks, there's 2 sets of rules. And there's a prediction out there coming from Wayne Root, who's a prolific writer and author. And he's asking a question. Will Taylor Swift be the next Bud Light? And I say, yeah, boycott Taylor. Who needs more of that shit anyways? Why does a musician, however popular, prolific, wealthy, who gives a fuck, just keep singing like a canary in a cage? I'm going to boycott her. I refuse to ever buy. Wait, I never have bought a Taylor Swift anything. Nope, not going to give her a penny. I think everyone else should boycott her as well, though. It just might be advantageous to remove all of the Taylor Swift. Pardon me. Oh, I got a few seconds. So, hey, I'm going to take full advantage of that. Full advantage of that. I'm going to do it. Darcy T checks in. A 41-year-old pharmacist. Folks, pharmacists, they have access to all manner of drugs through their doctor, of course. They know what all the drugs are, what all the side effects are. They have all the information on them. They have the opportunity to live very healthy lives. They make a lot of money, by the way. I know a pharmacist makes a shit pile of money. This guy, 41-year-old, dies of a heart attack. They blame it on stress. Thank you, Darcy T. They blame it on stress. Wait a minute, he's a pharmacist. Doesn't he, as a pharmacist, know all about things to reduce your stress, to lower your anxiety, to help you calm down using the latest pharmaceuticals? If stress caused heart attacks, I would have been dead, well, about 25 years ago. I was under a shit pile of stress, right? Darcy T says the same thing. If stress causes heart attacks, she would have died a long time ago. Anyways, yeah, take a wild guess. The Jim Jones juice strikes again. Some ridiculous left-wing pharmacist jacked himself up on the juice. Hasta la vista. Not gonna miss you. Okay, well, I tell you what, there's all kinds of shit out there everywhere. Let's do this. Let's get to you guys. Let's go to the inner circle. Get your thoughts down below with Mr. Uman. There it is. All right, Mr. Uman, it's been a hell of a day, man. I hope you've had a good day at work, solving the mysteries and problems of the world. And hey, Michael Smith checks in. Abraham checks in. But this is an Anon user from Subscribestar, an anonymous user, not a QAnon user. It says basically nothing will happen until the people stand up, period. Until then, they will do everything they want, meaning they, the government, will do everything they want. And it will only get worse as they say one thing from one side of their mouths, and out the other side comes shit flowing like a faucet. What's amazing is they point and say to the Trumpers or the right wing, they're doing this or that, and it turns out every time it's them using deflection. So often, it's amazing anyone is left to believe it. Honestly, I think the numbers are small and we need to have a party. It's really time to dance. You're right on many levels, Anon. Okay, now here. This is important. Yes, all they do is lie. They, the government, and their minions in the mainstream media, they lie. They bullshit. No one is listening. Now, here's the deal. Networks are going broke because no one's watching them. The Republicans gave up watching everything, and then in 2020, they gave up on Fox. Fuck you, Fox. Done. Who are they watching? Where are Americans going to get their information? They're going to Joe Rogan, who smokes weed with Elon Musk live. They're going to Tucker Carlson, who is the lap puppy of Vladimir Putin. They come to channels like this, the Prepared Mind channel, little itty-bitty channels, giant big channels. They go listen to Mark Dice. They listen to Jimmy Dory. They listen to lots of people to get different opinions and thoughts. But if you go to the mainstream media, you get the same shit from every last one of them as it comes off the Pravda press. Folks, in the Soviet Union, they had one channel. That one channel had one message. It was the government narrative. In America, we don't have Pravda. Pravda means truth, by the way, in Russian. A Pravda. Right? Okay, there you go. Pravda. Yeah. Well, the whole world said goodbye to Russian communism. Prespadanya. Hasta la vista. Done. Right? In America, we don't have Pravda. We don't have one channel. We have lots of channels that are all government narrative. It's all one story. It's just what channel do you want to hear it on? No one cares. Their numbers are small. The liberal Democrats are small. In government, they populate the bureaucracy. There's a lot of them in government. There's a lot of them wearing a badge because of unions, and unions are communist socialist organizations by their very nature. And that is the source through which they have found expression to infiltrate business. Now, there are union workers out there who are not communists. Money is taken from them, whether they like it or not, and given to the union leaders, the elites, and they support nothing but Democrats. Except for, folks, this is kind of important. Did you guys hear this shit? President Trump has the endorsement of the International Union of Police Associations. Wow, a Republican gets police endorsement, folks. Are the police finally waking up, to the fact that Democrat politicians are empowering and allowing left-wing lunatics like Antifa, BLM, the Communist Party of America, to assault, attack, and even kill them? Oh, you bet. You bet. Unbelievable, folks. But it just gets better. Anyways, yeah. Americans are waking up. That's why I talk to you guys every day. It used to be, hey, get ready. Stuff's going to go haywire. No one's going to believe us until it happens. So get ready. You're a prepper. You're ahead of the curve. Shit hit the fan. And now we're like, hey, shit has hit the fan. Start waking people up. Share the message. Spread the word. Get people to wake up, because once it goes bad, you're not going to be able to get what you need. In fact, Jolene is looking into. We were promoting the solar panel system, Jackery, to provide you with power in a grid down situation. She's found some whole house systems, and we're going to vet them, look into them, and make a determination if we're going to recommend them on the preparedmind.club as well. For people who don't just want a charged battery to run their computers and a radio, they may want to power something like, I don't know, your refrigerator and freezer. We're going to look into it for you. We're trying to do all we can just for that. Now, Mr. Uman, who's up next? We have drum roll chin music. How are you, dude? In fact, I've got your story right up here about O'Keefe. That's right. O'Keefe doing it again. Remember that thing called Project Veritas, where they would keep getting these dumbass Democrats and liberals and communists inside mega corporations like YouTube and Google and the government to admit openly that they were committing crimes, election fraud, insider trading, censorship, cover-ups. Yeah, that's why people don't watch the mainstream media, because people like James O'Keefe are doing that for them. And you're not having to pay for a whole fucking network. You're paying for a guy and his staff. Now, back to Chin Music on the screen here. Chin Music says, at what point do we start criminalizing bedwetting and stupidity? Fucking bedwetting? Listen, I tell you what, Chin Music. Communists are a bunch of godless, murderous scum. Even if they aren't the ones pulling the trigger, they would vote for somebody to pull the trigger and kill freedom-loving Americans because they're communists. Every communist regime has committed mass murder on their own people. Every single last one of them, whether it's Russia, China, small European nations, Central and South American communist dictatorships, every single one of them. They get power and they go out and they hunt and exterminate everybody and their families and their dogs and cats and their fish and even their flower beds. They stomp them all into the ground and kill them. That's what communists do. It should be a crime to be a communist. To study communism, one thing. To think about it, understand it in its historical context, what it's produced in terms of human fucking misery and destruction, how it's been used to fight wars, how it's been corrupted, or how it corrupts people into wanting it, thinking someone else is going to pay all your bills for you. To study it that way is one thing, but to say, I'm a communist and I'm fighting for it in this country, go to jail. In fact, just go step over into that box over there and we'll turn up the voltage. Talk about it. Discuss its merits. Debate it. But to say you're a communist and push for communist, shall we say, doctrine come to life, that's a fucking crime. And look what's happening. Thank you, Obama, and your health care. I tell you what, I've had it with these fucking people. I'm not saying commit violence or any of that shit. But it's going to happen. There will be hell to pay, as my dear old mom used to say. She said a lot, things like that. God helps those who help themselves, John. Get off your ass and go do it. There'll be hell to pay if you make the wrong decision. There's going to be hell to pay in this country, folks, because of the decisions made by these small-minded, weak snowflakes and bedwetters. Bedwetters, that's a good one. Mr. Uman, who be next? Cyber Hana checks in, and she says, the Hawaiian Supreme Court says the citizens of the state do not have the right to keep and bear arms. Line that up with the show in Lahaina. Just saying. JS. Yeah, we covered the Supreme Court. Folks, lawyers are not gods. Lawyers do not supersede the law. Lawyers don't make the law. You know what a lawyer's job is? A lawyer's job should actually be to understand the law and then protect the law. They're lawyers. Instead, they use the law as a weapon, as a tool to hurt and harm others and enrich themselves. Every lawsuit out there, the attorney gets 33%. 33%. Wow. Anyways, let's go back to Cyber Hana and Lahaina. Lahaina burned, folks. How did so many people die? How did so much property get destroyed? After Lahaina burned, people were missing. There were bad things happening. Did you know that Hawaii is overrun with homeless people? It's overrun with homeless people. I would not want to live in Hawaii without the right to keep and bear arms. Now, bear in mind, Hawaii has very strict regulations on guns, but they have not outlawed guns. They cannot outlaw guns. But if you need to register your guns, you have to make an appointment with the police there or sheriffs. You have to take your gun in a locked case. It cannot have ammunition in the case, in a magazine, anywhere near the gun. If you bring a loaded gun to a police station, they'll arrest you, even though they tell you to bring the gun in. You can't have a 10-round plus magazine in Hawaii for your AR-15, but you can have an AR-15. But I have it on good authority that people have lots of ammunition, lots of 30-round magazines, and lots of AR-15s. You cannot get a concealed weapons permit in Hawaii, and I think that's what this case is about. People want the right to protect themselves in public. The Constitution does not say you have the right to keep and bear arms, a well-regulated militia that protects inside of your home. No. It doesn't say that. It doesn't limit you to your home and your home only. It's the right to keep and bear arms. Wherever you are is where you're at. You have a right to protect yourself. Oh, so I say fuck you to Hawaii. Now, in a few areas in Hawaii, they do have a concealed weapons permit. I'm pretty sure the Big Island does. I don't know about the other ones. The Big Island's a little more, well, it's large, it's rural, it's a little more wild. I've been there. Big Island. If you get a concealed weapons permit, you may carry that concealed weapon inside your business or inside your home. How fucking stupid is that? You cannot carry it in public. What's the point of having a concealed weapons permit? They're just fucking crazy. Hawaii is an island or a series of islands. It's an archipelago. It is not a kingdom anymore, though they're fighting to become and be restored as a kingdom. They feel like they were tricked and forced into accepting statehood and becoming a U.S. territory, yada, yada, yada. Had belonged to Britain, yada, yada, yada. Who gives a shit? But I get it. I do get it. By the way, Hawaii is just absolutely stunningly beautiful. For those of you who haven't gone, sorry. It is a beautiful place, but the fucking politicians are stupid. The Hawaiian people, as in the Polynesians, as well as most of the honky crowd, they are not screaming liberals. They are people who want to be left the fuck alone. And that's why they live in Hawaii. They want to be left the fuck alone. Interesting stuff. Last time I was there, this is a while ago, years ago, I was driving down the highway in Hawaii, and politicians stand on the side of the road with large signs as people drive by. Vote for me, vote for me, vote for me. That's their campaigning technique. Recognize this name? I'm a local Hawaiian guy. I'm a native Hawaiian name you'll recognize. Very nepotistic, very tribal in that sense. All right, let's continue if we shall. Mr. Uman, after Cyberhana, who do we want to step up with? Who is next? Cyberhana says this: one of my law professors way back stated on day one, you are here to learn how to fuck them before they fuck you. And she says, seriously. And I believe that that's what they teach in law school. Law school is a 4-year degree that you get. So you can say you have a degree, a bachelor's degree, a Juris Doctorate. But you can't practice law with that. No. You have to go take the bar exam, which is on procedure and other bullshit. They teach you how to fuck them before they fuck you. Thank you, Cyberhana. You have helped give veracity to the things I say about law and lawyers. Anyways, I believe it. Mr. Uman, who's next? We have Uman himself. Oh, no, this is from Jolene, the prepared mother. She says, or writes, Biden's own Department of Justice said he has diminished faculties and a faulty memory. Classified documents probe reveals that he, Biden, left Afghanistan files next to the dog bed in the garage. Forgot when his son Beau died and couldn't remember when he was vice president. This is the state of our country. Uman, can I have you come into the room, please?
Yes, sir.
You are very. Don't start. You know some stuff. Who was it that married his fucking horse? Was that Caligula?
I believe so, yes.
A Roman emperor, I think, raped his sister, cut her baby out of her womb, and married his own fucking horse. Biden's not far off.
No, I would say not.
Jill is a bit horse-faced. He's had way too much to do with naked members of his family. And he certainly fucked all of us and murdered many people through his poor decisions. But I don't think Biden's really in charge. Do you, Uman?
No, I don't believe he's in charge. I think they put him out there and he's the face of it, and they got their committees and their cabinet that are making all the decisions.
He is the face of the narrative.
Yes.
So, Mr. Uman, who makes the narrative? Is that a committee? Is it a group of people who are very powerful and financially backed?
I believe so, yes. I don't think it's just Barack Obama giving the orders from the back room, or George Soros dictating it to everybody. You know, you got these World Economic Forum groups, and you've got all these lobbying groups and everything else, and they pass along their desires, and those are carried out because they know if they don't do as they ask, they're going to get cut off and they're going to vanish.
Well, they'll lose their power, if not their wealth, and their whole life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's not Barack. Barack is, as far as I'm concerned, another pimp and another bitch for the super wealthy.
Yeah, just like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, he was an even bigger race pimp than all them. He started more racial tensions in this country than I can ever remember in my lifetime.
Yeah. You know about Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton?
No, I'm talking about Barack Obama.
Oh, shit.
He started more racial tension in this country than I can ever remember in my entire life. He's
an incredibly divisive asswipe.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to bring you on for that. Yeah, these they're out of their mind. I can't put a finger on who is responsible for what. Because one day, President Biden, and I'm calling him that loosely, he says, well, I'll take care of that border if you give me some money. And the next day he's like, I can't do anything. I'm powerless. It's like, which Joe Biden are we talking to?
And if you look at his speeches from even like 10, 20 years ago, he's saying the exact opposite of what he's saying today.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. I mean, they were all against gay marriage, and they were all against, like, if you go way back, they were all against desegregation, for Christ's sake.
Mm-hmm.
So now, instead of calling it segregation, you know, they've convinced people that they should segregate themselves, and that's a good thing. Instead of forcing them to segregate, they flipped the script in their heads and said, "Oh no, it's better if you have your own thing."
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of the narrative of, well, now that we have our own thing and our own schools and our own this and our that, we should have our own state. We should have our own state that is totally separate, and it's pretty dumb. But I tell you what, I look at all these, shall we say, Democrat politicians and bureaucrats and assistants, all of them that we hear about that are being charged with crimes and corruption, fraud, embezzlement. These are your sharp-tongued ghetto trash that put themselves in positions of authority, and then they can't help themselves. The cookie jar is right there, and it just goes to show you who they are.
Yeah,
and I've seen
that one mayor that's living large, and then when she's confronted about living large, her go-to line is, "Oh, you're racist."
You're talking about Fannie Willis?
Yeah. No. There's a local mayor here in, I believe, Peoria, Illinois, or something like that.
Okay, gotcha.
She's spending extravagant amounts of money on herself, and some people on the board called her out on it, and then she tried to have them kicked off the board, and all kinds of stuff. And then as soon as she can't defend what she's talking about, going to conventions in Vegas and stuff like that. She can't defend what she's talking about, so it'll go straight to racist.
Yeah, the governor of Mexico, I mean, at that level, she should have been impeached and thrown in jail for all her theft. So many of these people. Anyways, let's move on to a new subject. We're running out of time, man. What do you want to throw up there?
Okay, we have Kaz jumping in.
Ruh-roh. The Italian hillbilly says, when county sheriffs start holding press conferences that SHTF is coming, people should notice, but the sheeple won't. And I think that's important, Kaz. Kaz, the Italian hillbilly. It's important, I think, to note that, more and more sheriffs. Where was this sheriff that I saw show up in the R Syndicate string?
It says he was from Butler County.
Butler County.
I don't know. I don't remember where he was at, but he was speaking at the National Sheriff's Association conference in Washington, D.C.
So the sheriffs know that shit is coming. It's going to get bad. And he's warning people, protect yourselves, get a gun, defend yourselves. What are some more of the specifics there coming from Butler County's sheriff?
I only was kind of half listening in the background, but I think, it was about being able to protect yourself because, there is so much stuff going on that they're not going to be able to do it for you.
Yeah, it's more of the wake up. You're going to be on your own. We can't protect everyone. And it's my opinion, a lot of the sheriff's deputies, as well as city police, are going to bug out if things get really nasty.
Well, you know what? I'm all for hanging around and helping my neighbors and everything else. But when push comes to shove, I'm taking care of my own first. And it's going to be no different for them.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. I can't blame them. But people think, well, it's your job to be there. And they're like, well, I'm going to protect and serve my own family. You can't blame them.
No. The only way that doesn't happen is if they have put something in place where their family is getting protection and housing and shelter and food and everything else. That's the only way I could see that they could possibly keep them on if things were to get that bad.
One of the early videos I did, I recall, and this is way back in 2014, folks, was discussing how if the police were to do their job and continue to do their jobs in SHTF or martial law, their families would have to be kept in a safe place, a large hotel or facility that was protected with a perimeter where they knew their wives and children were safe, and then they could go out and protect and serve. But I'll tell you what, I don't even think that would be enough, in my opinion. In an unruly area, not a nice, quaint, nice area where everyone behaves well without law enforcement. I think when shit really gets nasty, people are going to take pot shots at them. How's South Chicago looking?
Well, they're still having their shooting gallery every weekend.
Do the police drive through there trying to be their buddies?
I don't know. I don't go down there, but I would highly doubt it. I think
down there.
I think they respond to calls, and that's about it.
Yeah, they don't go down there and patrol. What's that?
I just found that article that was Sheriff Rick Jones from Butler County in Ohio.
Ohio. I believe Italian hillbilly is from Ohio.
Yes, he is.
And that's why it's important. Yeah. So we're not talking about Butler County, Florida, or Butler County, Mississippi, or Butler County, Texas. We're talking Butler County, Ohio, a northern sheriff. And in your state, Mr. Uman, in Illinois, rural sheriffs were like, hey, Pritzker, fuck you. We're not going to enforce your unconstitutional gun restrictions. How many people have signed up? What percentage have registered their assault weapons with Pritzker?
I haven't seen any updated numbers, but I believe it peaked out at estimated just below 2%. They were saying that on average there was like 2.24 million FOID card holders, which is firearm owner identification card holders, which you have to have here in Illinois to own a firearm. They were saying that, if you took the average of how many items were registered by the people who registered, which was roughly in line with the estimates of the average number of firearm owners nationwide own, it came out to something like 1.6, and it may have gone up a little bit in the last couple of weeks because people are still registering after the deadline.
By registering after the deadline to register when there was a deadline, you are now registering and admitting that you've committed a crime.
Yes, you are. And if there were ever to be a confiscation or a mass enforcement effort, guess whose house they're coming to first?
The very first ones are people who admitted to committing a crime by registering a weapon after the deadline, which makes you a criminal. So now they know who you are.
Yep.
And then after that, you go after people that registered, even though it was ahead of time. At least they know where they're at. And
Yep.
yeah, I still find confiscation to be a joke. There are not enough police to confiscate.
Yeah, well, I had some conversations about that with some other folks, and some of the theories that were kicked around were like, well, if you're an FOID card holder and they have a confiscation and you don't turn in your firearms, they can do stuff like not renew your driver's license and all kinds of other.
Oh, sure, the bureaucratic fuckery.
And inconvenience that way. So,
well, in the event how can they take something without proving you have a weapon still? Right? The old, I took it fishing and I lost it in the lake. Right? Just because you have a card doesn't mean you own anything.
Yeah, well, if you own something and you can't provide proof that you sold it, or if you lost it in a boating accident, which I think is one of the stupidest things you could possibly ever say, because then they're going to get you on, you didn't report your firearm missing.
It's not missing, right? I don't know. It's not. I don't. Let me stay focused here.
If you lose your firearm, you have to report it.
If it's lost or stolen, right?
Yes.
Now, let's just say I have a Ruger 1022 that I got when I was a kid. And I'm like, my Ruger 1022 is missing. That's it. I can't remember the serial number. I didn't write it down.
Is there any, no, well, if you're talking about time frames of that length, they didn't have the kind of paperwork and everything back then to be able to document that anyway. Let's
say I lost my Ruger 1022 I bought a month ago. I lost my Ruger 1022. What's the serial number? I don't fucking know. I don't write that shit down and sleep with it and put it in my safe. I fucking lost a gun. Yep. Sorry.
John, if you bought it a month ago, you fill out that paperwork. You're legally required to keep that paperwork and produce that paperwork. And I believe it's for 7 years.
I'm not in Illinois.
No, I believe that's on the federal firearms forms and everything. You have to maintain your proof of purchase and proof of sale for, I believe, 7 years. And I'm pretty sure that's in most places.
You may be correct, but I lost it. I'm sorry, I lost my piece of paper. That's a crime for losing a piece of paper?
Well, you could always say you lost the paper in the flood or in the hurricane.
I did. I lost my piece of paper, which had the thing that lost the gun. I lost it. It's just, where's the due process? Yeah, So, like I said, if I lost something, I would report it lost, and that's all there is to it. I lost it. What am I, a fucking kid? You're gonna put me in my room, bitch slap me, take my fucking Oreo cookies from me, tell me I don't get dinner or dessert for the next 6 years because I lost something?
I'm not saying it's right, John. I agree with you. I think it's stupid as fuck, but that is the law, and they will wrap you up if you do not comply with it.
Fine. There's a fine for losing something.
I believe if you don't report it, I don't know if it's a misdemeanor or a low-class felony. I believe it may just be a misdemeanor.
For losing something.
Losing it isn't the problem. It's failing to report that you lost it.
If I lost my paperwork, I got to report that. Not the gun, but the paperwork.
No, I don't believe you have to report losing the paperwork, but you're supposed to be able to produce it if required for, I think that's, like I said, that 7-year period. I'm just fun and arguing. Fucking Hillary Clinton. How many times did she say, I can't recall? Fucking Rush Limbaugh made a song out of all the time she said, I can't recall. I don't know. I can't recall. I don't know. Right? And maybe I would look at them and do a Hillary and go, what difference does it make now? What I'm trying to demonstrate is the fucking absurdity of government. Yeah. I do not disagree one iota with the absurdity of it, but people need to think about what they say and how they say it.
Yeah.
you have an unintended consequence. Like I said, you say I lost it, and then they're gonna, instead of arresting you for not turning in that gun that they came to get, they're gonna arrest you for not reporting losing the gun.
I just lost it yesterday. Yeah, sorry. I don't know. Well, is there a fucking time frame if I lose it or as soon as I realize it? I haven't seen it in 6 months. I haven't seen it in a year and a half, and I just thought to go look in the closet and it's missing. I think it was stolen. It's ridiculous. But again, you are correct.
I think the technicality is going to be from the time you realize you lost it. Okay, but now how do you determine that? Hey, I didn't realize it was gone. It was in here in my closet last time I looked. I haven't touched that thing in years.
Hey, Biden, when did you lose $86 billion of shit in Afghanistan? Did he turn in his paperwork after giving all that up? And was it stolen or did he lose it?
I don't know, man.
Anyways, these fucking people. The due process part is what kills me. Due process is a part of it's a part of statutory law as well as common law. That you can't jump to conclusions. Kind of like the idiot was jumping to conclusions about Trump and an insurrection and thinking that satisfies the requirements of this ability to forbid or prohibit someone from being in an election. He stepped over 5 fucking steps.
All they should have to do is say, show me the conviction where he was convicted of insurrection.
Yeah, they can't show that. They can't even show where he was charged with it. He hasn't been charged with it. No one's been charged with it.
No. All the J6ers, they were all charged with other crimes. But,
criminal trespassing, mischief, obstructing police.
Yeah, I think the only one that was maybe charged with an insurrection thing was that shaman guy.
And he's out.
Yeah, well, he pled it down to something else, or they reduced it to something else in exchange for it. Huh? I think I remember hearing that they charged him with an insurrection charge, but it got dropped. And there may have been other charges, people charged with insurrection, and they all pled it down to like a misdemeanor and made a public apology disavowing Trump and MAGA and blah, blah, blah.
You know what? These fucking people are going to get what they've asked for.
I saw another funny get what you ask for thing from New York today. Oh my God. They had one of the illegals sitting on a garbage can taking a dump right on 4th Avenue or something like that.
Oh, one of those garbage cans that has a hole in the center like a toilet?
Yeah. He's up there. He just drops his pants, hops up there, takes a crap, wiping his butt.
Gotta go somewhere. Gotta go somewhere.
How I just don't get what it's going to take for these idiots to say, okay, we need to shut these borders down. We can't take any more people.
I don't know. We're in big
control. Because calling Abbott bad for sending them there isn't working anymore. No. Everybody's starting to see, oh my God, these people are complaining because they got 10,000 people or 3,000 people or some stupid number, and they got 10,000 a day coming across. I think the math is finally starting to click in people's heads, and the numbers are so absurd. It's like, well, Texas has got 10,000 a day coming in, and they're crying about, a few hundred here and there.
Yeah. Let's, we can do something.
And now we got to cut public programs, and we got to cut down on other areas of the budget, and that's affecting me. Oh my God! No! We got to put brakes on now. But
if you take the 10 million people that came in, divided by all 50 states, that's 200,000 a state.
Yeah,
average, right? 200,000 on average per state. And New York City is complaining about how many? What do they have there?
I don't remember what the exact numbers are, but I mean,
it's tens of thousands. But
yeah, I want to say something like 30,000, but that number may be from a while back. I don't know how many they keep sending them and how many more are arriving. But it's the same thing in Chicago here. Mayor BJ is having nervous breakdowns because he doesn't know how to handle all this crap. And, I think they said something like, what was it, back in November or something like that? They said something that was going to be like $56 million through the end of the year to house and feed these illegals.
Yeah, and they're putting them in high-dollar hotels, too.
Yeah, which they're destroying.
Oh, yeah, you bet your ass they are. And they're laughing every fucking day about it.
Yep.
Anyways, man, we've gone way past our usual time, but that's usual, especially when it's me, you, and Kaz is on screen even. In all his camouflage glory. Yeah, the sheriffs are starting to realize they're fucked. They need the people on their side if law and order is to exist. That's why I was saying in Texas, the sheriffs should be creating the posse if they don't already have one. They should be deputizing citizens that have concealed permits because they've done background checks, proven themselves to be trustworthy, and say, you are deputized. If some emergency happens, we will call on you. Now, if my county deputized me and said, hey, we got a giant fucking herd of illegals coming this way with machine guns, I'd be like, I'll tell you what, dude, I am not deputized so you can put me in the front line to get killed. Instead, I'll make sure that the enemy gets killed. But yeah, it's scary. It's scary.
I'm not going to be going out and looking for trouble at the border when it's hundreds of miles away from me. But deputize me to defend my town. Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, well, you pick your battles, but don't call me when you fucked up so bad that everyone has to die because of it. I think the sheriff should be a little more forward-looking, and perhaps this is the start of that. Perhaps this is more of our influence, not me and you, man, but everyone, for spreading the word about all the shit that's going on, and pay attention and look at the illegals and look at what the government's doing. And right, the government meaning how they're letting him in. Government like letting him out of jails. Government not prosecuting him. And the sheriff is probably looking around going, we're not going to be able to handle all this. So hopefully that's the case.
I hope so.
It's just another step on the way back towards the fight that I think is inevitable. Do you, and this will be my last question for you, Mr. Uman, do you think that violent conflict within our borders is inevitable, whether it's with illegals or with ourselves?
I think at this point, with the number of illegals they got everywhere, I think there's going to be a boiling point somewhere in one of these big cities, and something's going to happen, or they're going to be putting them into some small town somewhere, and they do something stupid and end up getting shot, and there's going to be something kicking off with that. There's just too many for it not to happen at this point, and there aren't enough resources for everything, and they keep coming.
I've got more articles here I didn't get to about illegal criminals who were released and they turn around and they murder people and rape people.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy that beat the cops got arrested in Phoenix like a couple days later, committing more crimes. It's ridiculous. So what are your expectations of the Tucker and Putin interview tonight?
No, you're interviewing me now. Well, my expectation is Tucker is going to put his most sensational stuff up there that is going to be edited, probably not to a large degree, but if you're careful and you understand editing, you'll see it. I don't think he's going to lie. I don't think he's going to edit it in such a way as to produce a lie, but he's going to make sure it makes Biden look bad, the Democrat administration, the Democrat Party look bad. I think it'll be tailored as much as possible to reflect that, as well as to make the European Union look bad, make NATO look bad for what they did. I don't know if he's going to go all the way I would and say that the war was absolutely provoked by NATO, the European Union, England, and Washington, D.C. I don't think he'll go that far, but he may.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have a feeling it's going to fall short of all the hype that everybody is giving it, and all the freaking out everybody's doing about, oh my God, he's a Russian asset. I have a feeling it's just going to be a boring 2 hours or whatever it is.
Have you listened to Putin speak before?
Yes.
I
can't understand a word he says.
You have to listen to the translator, but Yeah, because he doesn't speak English. He only speaks Russian. But he's an intellect. He's an intellectual. He's very intelligent. He is articulate, and he explains his position very well. I wonder what his candor or demeanor will be with Tucker, whether it will be more one of friendliness or a little more confrontational, to let Tucker know this is how I feel about DC. Whether he's going to give him the hand or whether he's a very interesting fellow, worth the watch.
Definitely going to tune in and see how it looks. Actually, that's starting in about 15 minutes here. So,
in fact, I need to go
give it a watch and see where it goes. And then if it gets too boring or tedious for me to watch, I'll just look for highlights tomorrow.
It might get tedious. I'm going to go down to the next lower level in the bunker and go tune it in, grab a can of pork and beans, and check it out. All right, everybody. Mr. Uman, thank you for bringing that up here at the end.
All right. Have a good night, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.
You betcha. Thank you, everybody. And here's an outro for you.